Sell high, then buy high. Might as well don't sell. Sell for what? That's what most Singaporeans think. But is there actually a way that you can sell high but still buy at a fair value price? Actually, that's a very good question. In fact, I get that almost every single day also. When I meet owners, they will tell me, hey Toby, if I sell, right, I got to buy another one that is also very high. In fact, I would like to say that it really depends. I recently helped one of my owners in Tampines, HDB MOP. I sold his 4-room flat at a reasonable price. And when I sold his flat, I brought him to upgrade to executive in Pasir. That executive unit, I helped him to bought at a record low prices. The lowest price over there in the past 6 to 9 months. So it is not entirely true to say that, hey, if today I sell high means I must buy high. It really depends, because when you sell high, yes, you got to have a strategy to sell at a higher price. But when it comes to buying, there's also a strategy to know how to buy at a fair value price. So it is really about knowing the right strategies to know how to sell high and buy at a fair value. Okay, let's say today, right, Tiong Bahru HDB 5-room costs over 1.5 million. You are paying at an all-time high. Is it stupid or not? If you ask me, I would think that it is not. When you buy that 5-room HDB in Tiong Bahru, yes, price is what you pay. Value is what you get. It is brand new, 5 years old only. Yes, it is expensive at 1.5 million price tag. However, if you take a deeper look at it and take a look at the value perspective, you must understand there's no more such supply in Tiong Bahru area. The government is not coming out with any more brand new 5-room in that vicinity. You are owning that rare piece of asset. When you purchase that resale flat, right, you do not fall under that prime category. Because right now, that prime category, owners that buy into this area, they will be subject to a 10-year MOP mark. And there are also clawbacks of profits and all. Even after 5 to 10 years later, when you want to sell, you will always be that newest 5-room flat in that area. So when you think about it, a lot of people, they do not see it from that perspective. But if you look from that perspective, I can tell you, today the buyer that bought at 1.5 million, I will not be surprised that in future, 5 to 10 years later, he or she will be able to sell for a 2 million. Why? Because you can see one. We talk about prime area. Prime area HDB is also very rare. And we talk about such close proximity to the Tiong Bahru MRT, coupled with all these scarcities, reasonings and factors, there is only one way that this price will move, and it's only upwards. Recently, I just closed 2 units in Toa Payoh HDB 5-room. They are over 1.1 million. So when I say fair value, it means what? You can look at the past transacted data, right? You can go to HDB map services, you can look at the past transacted data, and you can see and study what is the prices going on around here. And when I say fair value, it means what? When we buy, number 1 is below the transacted prices. That's fair value already. Number 2, when you buy, you apply for the HDB valuation. And both of my units came back with a valuation match. So based on all these data, we can say that we bought at a fair value. Okay, really depends. Number 1, why would you even want to buy Tiong Bahru? There could be a certain need. Let's say you're staying near the parents, certain schools, you like that location, it's very close to city. So we talk about the needs part. Let's say you are purely buying to make money out of it. Let's say the last transacted is 1 million and you bought at 1.2 million. The question to ask yourself is, if I were to pay 1.2 million for this property, will it still appreciate to 1.5? That is the question that we should be asking ourselves. And based on the factors that were listed, I would say that confidently, you will be able to sell 1.5 in the near future. Only you can answer that. Every one of us, including me, when we buy something, we look at the price. So number 1, are we able to afford first? So if affordability is not an issue, then yes, okay, we can talk about the value perspective. Will it still guarantees me a certain kind of value, or will it still appreciate? That's why when we talk about this kind of property crossing all the all-time high prices, they qualify certain factors. Location is more centralized, it's very near to MRT, the size is huge, the layout is good, high floor, unblocked views. So there are a lot of factors that will determine that value of the property. So in future, think also that in future when I want to sell, who will be my competitors? If the competitors are very less, then I can tell you, the appreciation will be very high because you have no competitors. You'll always be that one of the few rare ones that are going to sell. Anyways, if you learned something in this video and you want to sell your HDB at the highest possible price, I've created a free training video with the 3 strategies that I've used to help hundreds of my clients achieve that. Click the link in the description to get access. Usually when clients ask me, hey, then Toby, what do you suggest that what I can buy? Probably we will look at, yes, what is their needs and wants. We will list it down. Then of course, then we will also look at that value perspective. So when we talk about value, generally there are certain things that we look out for. For example, you are buying into a bigger HDB that HDB are no longer building. For example, executive units, the EA, the EM, the jumbo units, like the Tiong Bahru example, right? It's a 5-room flat, but it's not launching any new 5-room over that area. So we have to look at all these factors to determine that value. If we can get a HDB that fulfills our needs and also that value that will still continue to appreciate, then I think that property is the one to go for. Okay, rarity forms a huge part of that value aspect because ultimately we are talking about HDB. Even for 5-room flats, there are certain 5-room flats that are of certain rarity in terms of the layout, because the older 5-room flats, right, they have a very huge living hall space that even if when you carve out a 4th bedroom, you will still have ample of living hall space. Whereas if you compare to a newer layout right now, the space is not much generous as compared to the previous generation layout. Flats nowadays are getting smaller and smaller. So when you own a flat that is bigger, that has more design ideas to play with, right, you can do a 4th bedroom, some even a 5-bedroom. So when you own that kind of HDB with a certain kind of layout as well, yes, then it will also form a very major price difference in future, and also location. All these are actually very important factors as well. Anyways, that's all for this video. And if you want more HDB tips, don't forget to subscribe.